Okay. This really is making me self-conscious. I look like shit. Oh my god. Anyway.
Stop.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop messing with this stuff. Okay. So, you ready for me to introduce myself?
Yeah, Russell's is recording and everything like
Yep.
that.
My dad was extremely charming, very loving man, but he was very much a perfectionist, and he kind of had some emotional and mental instability stemming from being raised by my grandmother. So he was very verbally and emotionally and physically abusive. For me, from a very young age, my life was very chaotic. I had my dad, my brother, my sister, my mom. But like every 6 months to a year, mom would pick up and leave. And we'd go to New Mexico or Colorado. More than being chaotic the way it was, I no longer had the back and forth between mom and dad, but I lost my brother and my sister. So it was just mom and I. And, you know, mom was a single mom now. And so she worked downtown DC, and she would work a second job as a bartender or a waitress at my granddad's bar to kind of help pay all the expenses and everything. So I was alone a lot. Well, dad wasn't going to take anything lying down. So he would always call me, and he would tell me that she was the reason I was always alone, that it was her fault that our family wasn't together, and then say all these bad, negative things about her. And he really played on my loneliness a lot. So it started causing problems between Grandma and I. So I wind up going and living with my Aunt Darlene. Well, my Aunt Darlene had 4 kids of her own, plus she had Candy already living with her. Then she had me living with her, and my cousin Tamara wound up moving in. So she had basically 7 kids ranging in age from 5 to 18. Here I am, I'm this awkward, ugly, lonely, naive, like 11-year-old that moves into this house with all these older teenagers with very little controls, and a little bit of attention went a long way with me because I'd gotten so little of it. I wind up starting to sleep around with people. At 12, I started drinking a lot, which I'd already kind of been drinking a little, but I started drinking a whole lot. So finally, at the end of 8th grade, mom convinces me to move back with her. Now I lose everybody all again. I lose all my cousin, my sister, any sense of family I had, I lost. And we moved to Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and I go to high school there, and I'm alone again. And I just did not fit in. I had low self-esteem, I was insecure, I was chaotic, I was angry, I was just a mess. A girl introduces me to this guy, Eddie, and he is charming and attractive and attentive, so I start dating him. We weren't together 3 months before he started hitting me. And I felt at fault a lot because I never wanted to like lay down and take it. I was hitting just as often as I was getting hit. So he and I, of course, get into a big, huge fight, and he whoops the hell out of me. So I go back to the apartment and I lay down, and I think just years of being told that I'm a big mouth bitch and that I'm no good and I'm nothing but a piece of shit and all this other stuff kind of came to roost for me, and I reached a really low point and decided to take my own life. So I get in my truck and I go to a part of the neighborhood that's facing a cement wall. And I back the truck up as far as I can get it, and I hit the gas and hit that cement wall at full speed. Well, I wasn't dead, and the car's still running, so I backed it up again and tried to do it again. Well, hit the wall again, still not dead, and the truck won't start again. So they take me to the hospital, and They assigned me to the mental ward and put me under surveillance, whatever. They're putting me through counseling. They want mom to come in. And mom comes in. And she tells the counselor that essentially she thinks I've done this to get back at her. And that just angered me. Because I'm sitting there thinking, this had nothing to fucking do with you. A week goes by, and mom had told me that her insurance only covered like 5 days of hospitalization for me or whatever. So when the 5th day came, I decided I need to get out of here. So I checked myself out of the hospital. Well, I don't have anybody come get me. I don't have my truck. They had arrested Eddie because he had had warrants out for his arrest. And by this time, I had gotten rid of all my friends that I'd ever had before meeting Eddie. I had really built myself in isolation. And mom's not there. At this point, I'm like, there's no way. I cannot live with mom. And I really didn't have anywhere else to go. I went to a Navy recruiter, and I just lied. And I never told him about any of this stuff. So here I'd been in a mental hospital the week before, and I walked to the recruiter, never told him about that, never told him about all the counseling I'd been through, and basically said, they said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, whatever leaves next week. So within a week of walking into the recruiter's office, I had signed up and enlisted in the military, and they put me on a plane and flew me out to Florida, and I started my training. While I was overseas, I became pregnant, and winded up coming back to the States, and Joe had said, well, I don't see myself being married or ever having kids. Mom had told me that I needed to have an abortion because it was too much work, and I wasn't in a place to handle raising a kid. So I was about 3 months along, and I met this guy, Aaron, in training, and he was really sweet and charming and whatever, and he knew I was pregnant and didn't care, and I saw an opportunity because he kind of wanted this ready-made family, and I needed help. So when he asked me to marry him, I agreed. In October, I had you, and he took full responsibility and custody of you. He gave you his name, and he loved you so much, and we worked together to be there for you. The funny thing is that all the years of chaos and loneliness and being lost and not really having any sense of direction had changed that day in October when I had you, because I never really felt like I had a family until I made my own family. The husband part, the father part, was never really important to me because my dad was so chaotic and he was never really around. And so, even though you and your sister and now your brother all have different fathers, it just didn't matter to me. What mattered to me was the four of us.